पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्ताय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter. So, yesterday and day before yesterday we discussed the second chapter and first chapter. We are discussing chapter 1. Starting from first canto, first chapter. The second chapter described about the divinity and divine service. How Sukadeva Goswami started to instruct the sages of my mission about the process of becoming free from material bondage. And the process is very simple. The process is to constantly glorify, meditate upon, and worship the Supreme Personality. And then we described about the wonderful qualities of the Supreme Personality. The potency of His holy name, potency or the benefit of singing His glory, benefiting the memory of His pastimes. And then in the third chapter, he is describing how Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Sutta Goswami is first describing how at the time of creation, the Lord expands Himself as the Purusha, and then He gradually described 22 different incarnations of the Lord. And after describing those 22 incarnations of the Lord, He stated that all these incarnations are parts and parts of the Supreme Personality of God. Shri Krishna. Ekeshamsha Kalapunsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Shri Krishna is the Swayam Bhagavan, the original Supreme Personality. And then he established that how Krishna's potency manifested and how the living entities manifest at the time of creation, and even after creation, how the living entities go back to the Supreme Personality. Not that all the living entities go back. Those who are fortunate in establishing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of God, they go back to the spiritual sky. And the other living entities just remain in a state of state of deep sleep. And when the creation begins again, then they manifest. Srimad Bhagavatam, in this way, establishing the fact that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes. That point has been very elaborately established in the previous chapter, and the same will be established in this chapter as well. So, we'll just read through the chapter. So Sutta Goswami is describing, Sutta says, in the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnation and manifested all the ingredients for the material creation. At the beginning, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnation. What is the Purusha incarnation? The Purusha incarnations are Karanadokshay Vishnu, Garbhodokshay Vishnu, and Kshirodokshay. And the universal form is the expansion of the Purusha incarnation. And thus, at first, there was the creation of the 16 principles of material action. This was for the purpose of creating the material universe. A part of the Purusha lies down within the water of the universe. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop this stem, Brahma, the master of all engineering in the universe, becomes manifest. So original Purusha incarnation is Mahavishnu or Karanadokshay Vishnu. And from the Karanadokshay Vishnu expands the Garbhodokshay Vishnu. And Garbhodokshay Vishnu lies in the lake of the universe, in the water of the universe. Actually, these descriptions are going on very quickly, rapidly. More elaborate description will be given later on in the course of Srimad Bhagavatam, description of Srimad Bhagavatam. But here, the description is that his lies, Garbhodokshay Vishnu lies on the water of the universe. But later on we will see what is actually the water of the universe. What is the universe? Universe is a bubble caused by Mahavishnu's breathing in the causal ocean. When you breathe underwater, what happens? Did you try breathing underwater? What happens? Bubble. What is that bubble? The bubble is actually emptying a ball of air which is empty inside. And the shape of the bubble is round. So similarly, when Mahavishnu was breathing in the causal ocean, the bubbles that were created, those bubbles were hollow inside. So it was just, these bubbles are just a shell of the universe. And then Mahavishnu expanded himself into Garbhodokshay Vishnu and entered into each of these bubbles. How many bubbles are there when Mahavishnu breathes? In the human. Actually, in the human. Because Mahavishnu is not only breathing through his nostrils, Mahavishnu is also breathing through the pores of his body. All the pores of his body also he is breathing. Actually, we also breathe also through the pores of our body. And those are also creating the body. Now, is Mahavishnu's body limited? No, unlimited. The pores of Mahavishnu's body is limited? No, unlimited. So Mahavishnu is breathing from the pores of his body, so the number of universes is also unlimited. So this is how inconceivable the creation is. And there are various types of bubbles, big bubbles, small bubbles. Big bubbles are big universes, small bubbles are small universes. And mind you, we are actually in one of the smallest universes. We are actually residing in the smallest universe. According to the size of the universe, Brahma has his heads. The smallest Brahma has 4 heads. So you can see that the size of this universe is actually very, very tiny. So this is how great the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. So then he enters, Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters into the universe, and then he fills up half of the universe with water from his own body. And that water is called Svedavada. Sweat water. Sweat. Sweat, why? Because the water that comes from the body is called Sveda or sweat. When water comes out of our body, it's sweat. But Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he produces such incredible amounts water from his body that the half of the universe becomes filled up. And there he lies on the bed of Anantashesh. And from his navel comes out one lotus. And Brahma is situated on the world of the center of it. And Brahma, Prabhupada describing here, that Brahma is the master of all engineers in the universe. He is the supreme engineer. Because he engineered the universe. Mahavishnu, through his breathing, caused the universe. Garbhodaksha Vishnu laid down in the universe, and then Brahma is manifested, and Brahma is the interior decorator. He filled up, the structure of the building has been built, and now the interior decoration is done by God. It is believed that all the universal plenary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. That the universal plenary systems are situated on the extensive body of Purusha. In body of Vishnu, Mahavishnu, the universe is extensive. Plenary system, universal plenary systems are situated, as you pointed out, through his breathing. Through the pores of his body, all the universes are situated. His body is eternally in spiritual existence for itself. Although the universes are manifested from Mahavishnu's body, but Mahavishnu or Purushavatar has nothing to do with it. He creates it, but he has nothing to do with it. He simply makes it happen, but never gets it. Doesn't it? He gets involved at some times to re-establish Dharma and to guide the living entities back to the spiritual sky. He does that, but otherwise, about the materialistic affairs of the universe, he has nothing to do. The devotees with their perfect eyes see the transcendental form of the Purusha. The Purusha Avatar, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is eternally situated in the spiritual sky. Therefore, he is not visible in the material creation. Only the devotees with their perfected vision can see the transcendental form of the Purusha, who has thousands of legs. Shahasrashisha Purusha, Shahasrabahu Shahasra. He has thousands of legs, thighs, arms, and faces. All extraordinary. In that body there are thousands of heads, ears, eyes, noses. They are decorated with thousands of helmets and glowing earrings and are adorned with garlands. So that is how inconceivable he is. How do the devotees when their vision becomes purified, see the Lord? They see the Lord in this form. Mahapurusha. With thousands of heads, thousands of ears, thousands of legs, thousands of feet, thousands of thighs. And they are all decorated most beautifully. His heads are decorated with beautiful helmets. His ears are decorated with beautiful earrings. His arms are decorated with beautiful ornaments. In this way, the Lord is beautifully decorated. This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, is the source and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnation within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created. So the living entities are generated in this way from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His parts and parts. So in the purport, Prabhupada elaborately explained, anyway, what did I tell you the other day? That on your own you must read these chapters also. Are you doing that? How many of you read the second chapter yesterday? Very good. So keep read this. So what I am actually doing is to give you a general understanding of what is in the different chapters of Srimad. Sometimes I notice that the devotees read, they attend the classes, and the Bhagavatam is read verse by verse, but they don't have the understanding what is being discussed. Therefore, I thought that it is important that we discuss in detail about the chapters so that when we read the chapters, we'll have a clearer understanding. And also make the point that when you start a new chapter, first you discuss the entire chapter and then go to verse. So now, Sutta Goswami is describing different incarnations of the Supreme Personality of God. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the four unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. So, first of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the four Kumaras. So, who are the first incarnation? The four Kumaras. The four Kumaras were the first four sons of God. So, in relation to the universe, therefore, the first incarnation has been described as the four Kumaras. Sanat, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanatan. And the second incarnation is the boar incarnation. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepts the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation. And for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. At some point, the universe, the earth planet, fell onto the lower planet, fell from the space. And at that time, the Lord assuming the form of a boar, lifted the earth. So that has been described as the second incarnation. In the millennium of the Rishis, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narad, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. So Narad Muni has been described as the third incarnation. So what did Narad Muni do? He extracted the devotional aspect of the Vedas. From the Vedas, he just accepted the devotional aspect, or he collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. The Vedas are extensively dealing with the fruitive action, which is known as Karma Kanda. The Karma Kanda sections of the Vedas are describing how to perform different sacrifices and other such activities for the sake of sense gratification, for the sake of material enjoyment. Narad Muni, on the other hand, he extracted the devotional and non-fruitive aspects. Therefore, Narad Muni is coming in the line which is known as Bhagavat Parva. This line, especially our line, is called Bhagavat. It deals with the devotional aspects of Srimad. Devotional aspects of the Vedas, which is known as Bhagavat, dealing with devotees and devotion. in the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayan, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus, he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhukam Ki, Jai Shri Shri Gauritai Ki, Jai Shri Shri Krishna. The fifth incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Ashuri Brahmana, for in course of time, this knowledge has been lost. The fifth incarnation is Lord Kapila. He is the foremost among the perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative element of metaphysics to Ashuri Brahmana. And for the course of time, this knowledge had been lost. The knowledge which is actually a Sankhya philosophy. So Kapil Dev gave the Sankhya philosophy. So those who are too much involved in the analytical study of the material nature, those who have been described here as the Asuri Brahmanas. So Kapil Dev gave Sankhya philosophy for them. Prabhupada is making a point here. Sankhya philosophy is generally called metaphysics by the European scholars. The etymological meaning of Sankhya is that which explains very lucidly by analysis of the material elements. This was done for the first time by Lord Kapila, who is said herein as the fifth in the line of incarnation. So, now the sixth incarnation, who is the sixth incarnation? The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Al360P. What is his name? He was born from the womb of Manushya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahlad and Adar, Yadu, Hai, etc. So this is known as, who is the sixth incarnation? The sixth incarnation is the son of Al360P. Therefore, his name is Dattatreya. He is Dattatreya. The seventh incarnation. Let us just take a quick overview. Who is the first incarnation? Who remembers? Chatusha. The second incarnation? Third incarnation? Narada. Fourth incarnation? And fifth incarnation? Kapila. Sixth incarnation? And the seventh incarnation was Yajna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Aputi. He controlled the period during the change of the Swayambhuva Manu and was assisted by Nemimas such as his son, Yama. So, the seventh incarnation was Yajna, who was the son of Prajapati Ruchi and Ahuti. The eighth incarnation is King Kṛishna, the son of King Nabhi and his wife Meruti. In this incarnation, the Lord showed that of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life. So, the eighth incarnation is Rishabh. Who is the seventh incarnation? Yeah. And now let us go to the ninth incarnation. For Brahmanas, in the ninth incarnation, the Lord prayed for by sages, accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produces, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive. So Prithu Maharaj appeared by due to the prayers of the sages. The sages prayed. Do you remember what was their prayers? Yes.
They prayed for a person who can take care of the kingdom when his father Anga was his father Vena was.
Very good. Vena was a tyrant and he was independent. He did not want to take the advice of the sages, the Brahmanas. Therefore, the Brahmanas cursed Vena and killed him. So when Vena died, there was no one to rule the kingdom. So there was anarchy everywhere. And people were suffering. When there is no proper ruler, then the robbers and thieves become very active because they don't care for law and order. And as a result of that, people were suffering, and the sages then considered that there is a need for a ruler. So then they churned the body of Vena, and as a result of that, by churning his hand, Prithu Maharaj from Vena's body. And Prithu Maharaj was the incarnation of the Supreme Personality. When there was a complete inundation after the period of the Chakshusha Mani, and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivashvata Mani, keeping him up on a boat. So, Vaivashvata Mani, during Vaivashvata Mani's period, after the inundation at the time of Manvantara, after Chakshusha Manu's reign, there was a partial annihilation, and that annihilation was manifested in the form of a flood. The whole creation was covered with water, and in order to protect the Vedas, the Lord appeared as a fish incarnation, Matsya. took the form of a tortoise, whose shell served as a fever for Mandaraka's sake, which was being used as a charming rod by the theists and atheists of the universe. The Devas and the Danavas, they got together to churn the milk ocean to get nectar. And they used the Mandara mountain for the churning rod. They used Vasuki, the king of the serpents, as the rope to churn. But when they took the Mandara mountain to the milk ocean, the Mandara mountain sank. Because the milk ocean is so deep that even Mandara mountain sank. So there was a need for holding Mandara mountain to do the journey. So the Lord then assumed the form of a tortoise, Kurmavatar, and let Mandara rest on his back so that the demigods and demons would churn the ocean to get the nectar. The 12th incarnation of the Lord appeared as Hanvantari. And in the 13th, he allured the atheists by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink. So these three incarnations are in succession in relation to just one incident. To churn the milk ocean, the Lord appeared as Kurma or tortoise. Then when the nectar came, he appeared as Dhanvantari and with the nectar, pot of nectar. And then when the demigods and demons started to fight over the pot of nectar, then the Lord appeared as Mohini and he enchanted the demons and gave the nectar to them. So, the 13th incarnation, the 14th incarnation, in the 14th incarnation, Lord appeared as Nrsimhadev and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist, Hiranyakashipu, with his nails, just as the carpenter pierces the cane. A carpenter pierces the cane with his instrument, he bifurcates, or Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Lingam. With his nails, Lingam means an insect. Just as an insect's body is very soft and tense. So, to pierce the body of an insect doesn't make any difference. Now, Hiranyakashipu's body was so strong that even thunder couldn't do it. His body was so strong that even the thunder could not do anything to Hiranyakashipu. But although materially Hiranyakashipu's body was so strong, but to the Lord, it was like the soft body of an insect. And with his nails, he pierced the body. Nakham Adbhuta Srimad Dalita Hiranyakashipu. In the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf, Vamandev, and visited the arena of sacrifice arranged by Maharaj Vali. Although at heart he was willing to retain the kingdom of the three planetary systems, he simply asked for a donation of three states of life. The 15th incarnation is Vamana. 14th incarnation, Nishikati. 13th incarnation, 12th incarnation, Anantari. 11th incarnation, Gurma. 10th incarnation, Matsya. 9th incarnation, 9th incarnation, Ritu Maharaj. And 8th incarnation, Rishabh. So again we got it. 7 and 8 after. Yeah. Very good. Good boys. In the 16th incarnation of the Godhead, the Lord as Rigupati annihilated the administrative class of Kshatriya 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas. So the 16th incarnation is Parashurama. And thereafter, the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vyasdev appeared in the womb of Satyavati and Parasara, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent. So 17th incarnation is Vyasdev. 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Sri Ramchandra in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. He exhibited superhuman power by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist King Ravana. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balaram and Lord Kṛishna in the family of Vishnu, the Jadu dynasty, and by so doing, he removed the burden of the world. And then, 20th incarnation, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha. So this was described before Buddha's appearance. So therefore, Buddha's appearance has been forecasted that he will happen. This narration, this encounter between Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya, how long back did it take place? It took place about 5,000 years, almost 5,000. And Buddha appeared only about 2,500 years. Therefore, they say that he will. And another incarnation will appear. Who is that? Kali. So in this Athaso Yuga Sandhaya Dasu Prayeshu Rajashu Janita Vishnu Jashushu Nama Kalki Jagatpati. Thereafter, at the conjunction of the two yugas, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as the Kalki incarnation and become the son of Vishnu Dashna. At the time, the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into numbers. Yuga Sandhaya. Two yugas, Sandhi. Two yugas will come together. So what are those two yugas that will come together? Kali and Satya. End of Kali, beginning of Satya. At that time, Kalki Avatar, the Lord will come as Kalki Avatar. When will that happen? Another 400 and how many? 427,000 years. 427,000 7,000. 5,000 years of Kali Yuga has gone by. Another 427,000 years to come. Jai Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Jai Shri Shri Prabhupada. And then Kali Yuga will end and Satya Yuga will begin. O Brahmanas, the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible sources. All the rishis, manus, demigods, and descendants of Manu, who are especially powerful, are plenary portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. This also includes the Prajapati. There are many other incarnations also. All the rishis, manus, demigods, and descendants of Manu, who are especially powerful, are the plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions. So these are the Shaktavesha. Whenever some personality becomes empowered, they are also kind of incarnation. They are empowered by the Lord. They are known as empowered incarnations or Shaktavesha. Then this is a very important verse in this chapter, the text number 28. Ete chamsha kalapusha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indradi Vakulam Mukam Mrirayanti. All the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portion of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of God. All of them appear on planet whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the thieves. In Bhagavad Gita also there is a parallel verse. What is that verse? Yada yada Abhuthanam dharmasya Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all misery of life. So you want to become free from all miseries of life? So what will you do? Recite these glorious activities of the Lord in the morning and mysterious appearances. The conception of the Virata universe form of the Lord as appearing in the material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent, the neophytes, to adjust to the idea of God having form, but factually, the Lord has no material form. So, this verse also is very important. Etad rupam bhagavato hi rupasya chidasa maya gunai virachitam mahadadi viraatmani. Etad, all these rupam forms, Bhagavata of the Lord is certainly Arupasa of one who has no material form. And Prabhupada therefore, and the Virat Roop of the Lord, the universal form of the Lord, which is in relation to material everything. The Virat Roop, you remember, in Bhagavad Gita, the Virat Roop has been described as different aspects of this material nature to be different limbs of the Lord. Like the rivers are his veins, the universe, the ocean is his abdomen, the mountains are his bones. But actually the Lord's form is not at all material. Therefore Prabhupada is pointing out that is Virat Roop is imaginary. That is not the original spiritual form. It is seeing the Lord from material perspective is the reality. In order to give a materialistic people, less intelligent people, an understanding of the form. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions on the spirit self. Beyond this gross conception of form is another subtle conception of form, which is without formal shape and is unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. The living being has its form beyond this subtlety. Otherwise, he could not have repeated birth. So, beyond this gross conception of form, there is the subtle form, subtle conception of form. But this subtle conception of form is without formal shape. For example, what is the shape of the mind? Our gross body has a shape, but the subtle body, it doesn't actually have shape in that way. But beyond the subtlety, the living being has his form beyond this. So beyond the subtlety, which is kind of formless, there is a form. What is that form? That is the spiritual. Whenever a person experiences by self-realization that both the gross and subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self, at that time he sees himself as well as the Lord. So when one becomes self-realized and transcends both the gross and subtle nature, then only he becomes qualified to see himself, his spiritual identity and the Supreme Personality of God. If the illusory energy subsides and the living entity becomes fully enriched with knowledge by the grace of the Lord, then he becomes at once enlightened with self-realization and thus becomes situated in his own glory. Thus, learned men describe the works and activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even in the very literature. He is the Lord of the heart. The Lord whose activities are always spotless is the master of six senses and is fully omnipotent with six opulences. He creates the manifested universes, maintains them and annihilates them without being in the least affected. He is within every living being and is always independent. The foolish, with a poor fund of knowledge, cannot know the transcendental nature of the Lord, nature of the forms, names, and activities of the Lord, who is playing like an actor in a drama. Nor can they express such things, neither in their speculations nor in their words. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Kṛishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. So what is the way, what is the qualification? To understand the Supreme Personality of God. What is the qualification? To render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So, yesterday also we discussed, time and time again we will see that this point is being established. Ahaituki apratihata yajatma sukrishna. And here also, Bhajet tatpadu saroj gandha jo amaya satatayam constantly, let us say anubhritya and favorably. Only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universe, and guarantees 100% immunity from the dreadful reputation of birth and death. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literal incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasdev, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all peaceful, and all perfect. Sri Vyasdev delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized. After extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe, Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasdev, in his turn, delivered the Bhagavatam to the great Emperor Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drink. This Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Kṛishna to his abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Puran. Krishna sadhamo apavate dharma jnana pisa kalo nashta purisha mesha kuda narko adhuroma. Krishna Shadhamo Bhagavate. When Krishna went back to his abode, spiritual abode. Dharma Jnana Niti Saha, along with religious principles, dharma, jnana, transcendental knowledge, etc. Adi Saha. When Krishna left, all that also went with him. Then Kalu Nashta Drishamisha. In the age of Kali, of persons who have lost their sight, for them, this Purana Artha, they lost their sight in this darkness. They have lost the ability to see because the age of Kali is so full of darkness, of ignorance. Now when there is darkness, how can I get light? If the sun comes up. So Srimad Bhagavatam therefore has been compared to the sun. This Bhagavad Puran, Arka Adhuna Purita. This Arka means sun. So this Bhagavad Puran, just like the sun, has reason. O learned Brahmanas, when Sukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there, in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from the great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned from him and as I have learned. So, Sutta Goswami is mentioning here how he received Srimad Bhagavatam from Srila Sukadeva Goswami. He was just present there when Sukadeva Goswami was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. There are many other sages also, but Sukadeva Goswami, he understood the real purport of Srimad as Sukadeva Goswami narrated. Therefore, it is Sukamukhad Amrita Dravasa. This Bhagavat also compiled by Vyasdev. It was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami and it became so nectarian because of his realization. So things recited and things spoken out of realization are not the same. When one speaks out of realization, then it becomes easy to understand. Realization is the proper understanding. So the teacher of Srimad Bhagavatam presents Srimad Bhagavatam with the due understanding. Like the proper case is Bhaktivedanta purport. The Bhaktivedanta purport is actually giving us the understanding of Srimad. Like we are reading like that, but this understanding we are just getting the basic understanding. But when we reach the Prabhupada's purport, then we become enriched with devotion. So thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the first canto, third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Any question? Does anybody have? Yes, Krishna.
We actually gain some understanding, and when we speak that, we tend to repeat the same, and sometimes individually, I may feel that I have to say it in a different way, and the same pattern in a different way, according to the needs of the audience and according to my needs nature also. So I just want to ask this question that which is right? I mean, do we have to, stick? How much do we have to stick to exactly the same points that are spoken that we heard, and how much we have to be flexible according to our nature and the way we feel more comfortable to explain? Because it's a question related to preaching. Should it be the same thing that we heard that is better to speak, or according to one's nature also?
You see, recitation is not really necessary. Some people know Srimad Bhagavatam by heart and they can recite Srimad Bhagavatam, right? All the time. But they may not necessarily understood Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So what is important is the understanding and explaining. If I didn't understand, how can I explain it? And if I didn't understand and I speak, well, how much will you understand? The important thing is understanding. This understanding is digestion. Right? You take the food and you digest. When you digest, what happens? The food becomes a part of your body. And if you don't digest, then what happens? The food becomes, food's really separate from you. It's not digested, not accepted. So we have to understand and then only speak. If you speak without understanding, you don't have the desired result. And when you speak with understanding, it may not be absolutely the same, word for word. Because then you are presenting it in your words. That is the difference between recitation and recitation. You recite just the way it has been written, right? Or just the way it has been spoken. But when you speak after understanding, then it will be your words, but the theme is the same. Actually, the same point was made by Gopinath Acharya to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had the same point, like there is no mention of this person that you are talking about. And Kṛishna is known as Tri Yuga. He comes only in 3 yugas. In Kali Yuga there is no incarnation as such. But then Gopinath Acharya pointed out that the Lord in the age of Kali doesn't come revealing his identity. He comes covering his identity. Channa Pallu, Prachanna, cover. He covers his identity, he doesn't reveal his identity. Then, if it is mentioned, then everybody will say, it's Kṛishna. Right? So he won't be able to play the role as a devotee. In this age, he comes as a devotee. So if the incarnation is revealed, if the identity is revealed, then he won't be able to play the role. Right? Therefore, Mahaprabhu's identity is although mentioned in scripture, but it is hidden. For example, Bhagavatam, 12th canto, is describing. One is describing very clearly Kṛishna Varna Disha Kṛishna Sangapam Astra Varshavam Jagve Sankirtana Praye Jajanti Sumi. Not clearly mentioning his name, but he's saying that he will establish Sankirtan here. He will chant the holy name, he will establish the chanting of Mahamantra and so forth. Still, it is quite clear. But there is another verse, which comes after this actually. But even great scholars get bewildered by it. That one is Vande Mahapurushadeva. Takta Sudustaja Shurepshita Rajya Lakshmi Dharmishta Arja Vachasha Jadaga Varnana Maya Nigam Dvaitayakti Shamanna Bhavat Vande Mahapurushate Charana. See the verse Takta Sudustaja Shurepshita Rajya Lakshmi. He has given up the Rajya Lakshmi, the wealth, the Lakshmi, you can say the opulence of Lakshmi, very neglectful, without any attachment. Which is desired by the demigods, that has been given up by him. And in order to fulfill the words of Ramana, he left his kingdom, he went to the forest. And he showed people how to avoid running after the illusory energy of the mind. So I worship that Supreme Personality. Now see, apparently it appears that this is the incarnation, this is indicating Lord Ramchandra. Like he left his kingdom, went to the forest, right? He ran after the Mayan, right? In order to get the Mayan. Now the point is, if you see the Srimad Bhagavatam, different incarnation of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga has been described. Ramchandra's incarnation has been described as the one from Treta Yuga. But then it comes to Kali Yuga. And then after that, this description. Now who is it describing? If it is Ramchandra, why he is coming in Kali Yuga? So in this way, his identity has been kept as a secret. Therefore, it has been forecast. But in between, you find many verses that actually indicate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just as Kṛishna Varna Disha Kṛishna from Srimad Bhagavatam. Jaggai Sankirtan Praye Jajanti Suni. Kṛishna Varna Disha Kṛishna Sangavan Mangrasta Kapashana. He will appear chanting the name of Krishna, assuming the non-Krishna or fair form, and he'll appear with his devotees and associates, and he'll establish Sankirtan. In Mahabharata also, there is a description that Shuvarna Varna Hemanga Shuvarna Varna Hemanga Varangrasthana Andhuri Shannasha Krichamo Shanti Nishna Shanti. So he'll appear with golden form. Shuvarna Varna Hemanga Varangrasthana. His form will be decorated with sandal. And he'll assume sannyasa, and he'll teach the path of Nishtha.